Hey guys, Jen here. So I started doing a live video for this, and for some reason the internet wasn't working fast enough, and so it kicked me off, and I decided rather than try to do that again and have it delete the first half of the video that I already did, I'm just going to shoot it as a regular video and upload it that way because it's just easier. So for anyone who was watching the live video, sorry about that. That was an internet thing, and Facebook just kicked me off. So anyway, to go into today's topic, the topic is how to create confidence to just do you. If you're not familiar with that phrase, just kind of explain it to you. Do you basically just means how to be 100% you, how to be unapologetic about it, how to just completely be who you are and not worry about what anyone thinks or, says or anything like that. So that, I would say, is probably the ultimate goal for most people, is to just go out there and do them and not have to worry about anything. And even though I know a lot of people who do them and they still have fears and all that, so don't feel like, oh, I'm going to get to a point one day where that's just going to all disappear. It doesn't really happen like that. So I still have fears, I still have doubts, I still have a lot of stuff that gets in the way of me, going out there and doing what I want to do. But I have all these things, which I'm going to talk about in this video, that help me to push past that and to continue going out there with confidence and just being who I am. So the very first thing I would say, and this really all comes down to a mindset shift. So it's all about, are you in the mindset of, I'm a confident writer, a confident author? It kind of is the same thing like I was talking about the other day with the I sell books mindset. It's very similar. You just say, I am a confident writer mindset. So are you doing something every day to cultivate that mindset and to get yourself in that space where you feel that way and believe that stuff about yourself? So the very first tip I'm going to give you is mindset. If you're not doing a daily mindset practice, now is the time to start. So a daily mindset practice could be anything. It could be simple. You could write, affirmation statements. You could say them out loud. You could meditate, or you could do a combination of things. I personally like to journal and write intention statements in I am, I want, I have. And then I also have a combination where I do a meditation / visualization practice. And all of that has helped me to build the confidence that I have now to go out there and just do me and not worry about, trying to be like anybody else or trying to copy people that I think are what people want to see, like none of that. So I think a lot of times when we start going out there as authors, we think, oh, we have to be like all the other authors, or we have to find a way to, be like our favorite authors because otherwise we're not enough or we're not good enough. And the whole thing is that's not true, because we have our own target readers, our own target audience, and those are our people. So I just truly believe that we all have our target people out there, and the more we put ourselves out there with our content, with our books, with anything else that we're doing, we're just going to keep attracting those people to our, our videos and our books, because we are meant to have them as readers and as people who follow our stuff. So I just think that there's more than enough to go around for everybody, so I don't think that we have to be in competition with other writers or other authors, and I think that also helps with the confidence, because at one point I did used to think that it was about competition, that, oh my God, I'm competing against all these other people, and now I don't see it that way. Now I see it more as community, not competition, because at the end of the day, we're all supporting each other, we're all doing our thing, just trying to make our living as writers, as authors, and doing the work that we love to do. And so we're really all similar in that way, and for that reason, there is no competition. So yes, maybe there are people who write similar books to you, or maybe there are people who have similar readers, but I guarantee you that there are people in this world who are meant to be your readers. And as you start putting yourself out there, as you start putting your books out there and your content out there, you will start to find these people, because they're out there. They're just waiting for you to get out there too. So, and I will just say this because I think a lot of times we think we're limited in some way. So, oh my God, like if, XYZ author has 50,000 followers, how am I going to get that? Oh my God, it's so crazy. How am I going to do that? But the whole thing is, there are plenty of readers to go around, and there are billions and billions and billions of people in this world. And you only need a handful of them, every month to buy your books in order to make a living from it. So I like to think of that whenever I feel doubtful that I can do something or worried that it's not going to work out. It's like, well, there are billions of people in the world. There are plenty to go around. There are plenty of readers for all of us. So, but this is cultivating a mindset. I mean, it's very much me creating this mindset purposefully and making sure that it's intentional, that this is what I agree, this is what I believe, and this is what I make true for myself. So it's all a mindset thing. And really, it's the number one thing. I mean, if you can just cultivate the mindset of being successful and being confident, you're going to have that. It's automatically going to come out through you naturally because you're creating it by focusing your mind on it every single day. So the very first thing I'm going to say is mindset. If you're not doing a daily mindset practice right now, now is the time to do that. So I actually have a book out called Journaling Writing Dreams to Life that tells you all about this practice and how I do it every day. So you can check that out. Or if you want to see the practice in action, go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jennifer Blanchard, and you will find a video that I made that shows you my practice from start to finish so you can actually try it out for yourself. I don't necessarily recommend you do the exact same practice. I mean, you totally can, but the idea isn't to copy exactly what I'm doing. It's to find the things that work best for you, that make you feel confident, that give you the mindset of, I am a successful author. And that's what it's all about. So do something every day to work on your mindset. And if you do, I promise you that the confidence will come through, and it will come through faster than you ever even imagined was possible. All right, so the second thing is to have vision. So this is really important because when you have vision, when you know where you're headed, what it looks like, where you want to go, everything you dream of having, you've sort of got this picture in your mind of it, it makes it a lot easier to go out there with confidence and to just be who you are because you have this vision and you know that there's no one else in the world who could create it exactly like you do. And, there are no one else in the world who could do it exactly like you do, whether it's your books that you're writing, the content that you create. You know, if you gave the same topic to 10 different authors and said, go out there and write me a book, they would all come back totally different. And it's because nobody is the same. We're all different. And we all think differently. We have different experiences and different, challenges and situations that we've dealt with in our lives. And all of that builds into who we are. So it helps us to feel like, oh, we are unique, we are original. And for that reason, it's okay to go out there and be who you are because that's what people want to see. They want to see this, confident person who is who they are. They're not trying to be somebody else. They're not trying to hide out behind a persona or anything like that. They're just being who they are. And that's what it's all about. Now, if you're using a pen name, that's totally fine too. Like a lot of authors use pen names and then they just go out there as themselves, but with that pen name. So it works a similar way, obviously. But vision is a big part of feeling confident because when you know where you're headed, you don't really give a shit about what anyone else thinks. And I feel like that's been really powerful for me, especially over the last couple of years as I've really just focused more on my writing career and my authorship career, just really realizing that like when I know where I'm heading and I know what I want for my business and my writing life and all of that, that I don't really care as much about what other people say or do because it doesn't bother me. I know where I'm heading and I've got this, grounding vision that's pulling me forward every single day. And so if you have that, it will give you confidence to just go out there and be like, I'm going to just be me because this is the vision that I have and I can't attain this vision by being anybody else. And so it kind of just works naturally to drive you forward. And so if you don't have a vision, I would highly recommend sitting down, doing some journaling on this and really thinking about what do you want to create? What do you want your dream writing life to look like? What do you want your dream writing career to look like? So sometimes we think we know, but when we sit down and start writing it out, suddenly it's like, wow, I never thought of that, or I didn't realize that. So something I discovered over the last few months is that I really, really want to write screenplays. So I didn't realize that was something that I really wanted to do. I knew it was something I was interested in, but as I started journaling on it more, I've discovered that yes, I want to be a novelist, but I honestly see myself more as a screenwriter and as somebody who creates stories for movies. Because when I was a young child and I was writing, I would always see stories come to me as pictures. And even now that still happens. And I think it's because I'm meant to be writing movies and screenplays. So that's something that I'm taking on this year that I haven't done yet. And it's different, it's challenging for me, but it's something that I know is going to get me to that bigger vision. And again, I would have never discovered that this was even something I cared about if I hadn't taken the time to write out this vision, to figure out what it is that my life would look like if I had everything that I wanted in my writing life right now. And so I would highly recommend you do that because once you do that and you know where you're headed and you've got this vision, it's a lot easier to stay on course, to stay in your own lane and not worry about what other people are doing. Okay, so the third thing is a why. And I talked about this in my previous videos as well because it's super important. But when you know why you're doing something, when you know the reasoning behind it and what's, pushing you forward, what's compelling you to actually do this. So why are you an author? Why do you have to be an author? Why do you have to put your books out there? By doing that, it gives you that confidence to just go out there and be you because it's your why and it's the driving force that fuels you and there's nobody else that can get in the way of that. So like for me, my why is obviously, it's a lot of things. My why is freedom. So out of everything in the entire world that I want freedom. I want to create my life exactly how I see it. on my own terms, however I want it to be, and I just want complete freedom and control of everything. That is my ultimate why. That's what drives me forward in my business every day. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. That's what keeps me, striving as an entrepreneur and not trying to fall back on, oh, I'll just get a day job someday. Like, no, I know that that's not a fit for me. And I know that freedom is my ultimate goal in life. And so that drives me forward. And then, of course, my reasoning for being an author and just feeling like I have a message to share. I have experiences and stories that people need to hear. That, again, is all part of my why. And it drives me forward to know that I can go out there and be me, because nobody else has these ideas and nobody else is creating what I'm creating exactly as I create it. So it just becomes this exciting thing when you feel like I've got something really special and unique to put out there. And so because of that, it just gives me confidence to be able to say, okay, I'm going to just do me and not worry about anybody else. So a bunch of my coach friends actually stay in your own lane. And what they mean by that is, rather than looking at what everyone else is doing and getting, stuck into shiny object syndrome where you get distracted and stuff, you just stay in your lane. You just stay focused on your vision. You stay focused on why you're doing it. And that's it. And what happens, you sort of wear blinders to it. And whatever happens on the outside doesn't matter. You just stay focused. And by doing that, you can have confidence to do you and not worry about it. All right, so number 4 is major, and it's self-love. So if you struggle with this, and I think we all do from time to time, it's definitely something you want to work on. So I would highly recommend, if you don't already have a journaling practice, that you take one up immediately, or if not sooner. And only because, again, when you journal, you really can go deeper with your writing. I think that because we're writers and journaling is about writing, I think we just can find ourselves so much more in the page. And so that's why I like the idea of writing stuff out and handwriting and just diving into all these different pieces of, who we are. And don't be afraid of your issues. Don't be afraid of going inside and figuring out, why do you do certain things, and why are your patterns the way that they are? Why do you take certain actions or not take certain actions? Or why do you react to things the way that you do? Don't be afraid of all that shit, because yeah, it might seem scary at first, but honestly, when you start to go in and unlayer it and figure out what's happening, it actually makes it easier for you to, first of all, to feel like it's okay to be you, that we're all on our own paths, we all have our own journeys, and that nobody is doing any better than anybody else, really. We're all just humans and having a human experience together. But also, as you undo those layers and all the just negative BS and bad thoughts and old beliefs and things that are just holding you back, you'll start to see new opportunities, and you'll start to feel more confident in yourself as who you are, because you'll start to fall in love with all the things that you like about yourself and all the things that make you who you are. So there was definitely a lot of time in my life when I felt very just not happy with myself. And it wasn't because there was anything wrong with me, but it was because I was looking on the outside at all these things I thought I was supposed to be, and I wasn't those things. And so it made me, feel like there was something wrong with me and I'm not good enough, and why don't I look like that girl, or why don't I whatever. And the whole point was that all that does is just take your confidence away. And so you have to just not do that. You have to stay in your lane. You have to find ways to just love who you are, accept yourself. And that's really the most important thing, because when you do that, when you can love the great things about yourself and be okay with the things that aren't so great about yourself, then you can, have more confidence, and that confidence will show through naturally the more that you get yourself to that place. So again, don't be afraid to go inside. It is absolutely where all of the answers lie. So, and maybe this is cliche to say that, but it's true. So there are really no answers that you don't have already inside you. And if you start journaling on this stuff and asking questions, I guarantee that shit will come through, and you'll be blown away with how amazing that, things you didn't even see that are there, that you can now work through and overcome and have this new level of confidence built up because of that. So over the last, 5-6 years, as I've been doing my business full time, it has taught me so much. And I've learned that, and this is crazy, this is kind of crazy, but I learned that most of success is an internal thing. It's an internal thing. It's dealing with the bullshit inside. It's getting rid of the limiting beliefs and the negative ways of thinking and the bad habits and things that just get in your way. And it's an internal thing. So if you can create success on the inside, it will automatically show up on the outside. So if you can create self-love and confidence on the inside, it will show up on the outside as well. And journaling, I think, is the best way to do that. So that would be my tip for you there. All right, so number 5 is to make a list of all the awesome things about yourself. So obviously, there might be things about yourself you don't like, but we're not here to focus on that. So you are going to focus on making a list of all the things that you love about yourself, that you think are awesome, that you think are, just cool or amazing or unique or different, special, whatever. Make your list. It's going to be like your little, just I love whoever you are list. So I love Jen list. Make a list of all the things that you love about yourself. Cool. And then from there, every time you feel you're not confident, every time you feel like you're about to do something and then all of a sudden you freak out or you're afraid you can't be who you are, and go back and read this list and remind yourself of all the great things about who you are, because that is going to help you to feel inspired and empowered to go out there as you and to realize that that's what people want to see. So refer back to this list as often as you possibly can, because it will give you confidence to believe and to know that you are perfectly good exactly as you are. All right, number 6 is to be real. And this I love, because I think so often we think we can't be who we are because people won't like it. But honestly, like, especially in the digital world, in the online space where so much shit is fake people and fake companies and fake products and all that stuff, you know, fake memes and just stupid news and all that stuff, it gets in the way. And so people are looking for authenticity. They're looking for people who are real, because anybody can be this like polished, pretty, you know, version of themselves. Of course, anyone could do that online. We could all present ourselves as, you know, we're perfect and we have perfect hair and perfect makeup and nothing ever goes wrong in our lives. It's so great. But that would be a lie, because it doesn't really happen that way. And we all know it. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's got their shit together completely. Nobody. And the funny thing is, the more I go out and meet people and like bigger name people that I think like, oh, that person is got it going on and they're doing awesome, the more I meet people like that, more I discover that they're just like me. They're just like you. They have doubts, they have fears, they have, you know, things that go on in their lives that are chaotic, that make them crazy. And the funniest thing, and I won't say who it was because you might know who he is, but I was at Tribe Conference last year and I talked to one of the speakers who was on stage after, you know, I talked to him before he went on stage, and we were talking about panic attacks, like actually freaking out about being at this conference, because we're both like really shy, and one of my friends was there and she was saying the same thing, and we were all just kind of like, it's so weird that like we think that just because somebody is, you know, known in the online space or known in the writing world, that they must have their shit together and they must totally, you know, just not have anything wrong in their lives. And it's crazy, because this guy was literally saying, you're talking about panic attacks being here, like with these people you don't know. He's like, I have to go on stage. I was just in the car like 30 minutes ago crying on the phone to my wife because I was having anxiety and feeling like I shouldn't be here. I can't do this. I can't get on stage. And this is somebody who makes millions of dollars a year through his books, through his, you know, classes that he teaches and all this stuff. So it just reminded me that like, it's about being real. It's about not trying to put this polished version of yourself out there all the time, but just being real, because that's what people want to see. They want to see who you really are, what you're all about, and connect with you on that level, which they can't do if you're always putting a polished version of yourself out there where everything is perfect, because that's not relatable. And in order to have the confidence to go out there and be you, you have to be relatable to people. Otherwise, they won't see it that way. They will just sort of see you as, you know, great, you're doing such a great job, but they can't relate to that because they don't feel that way about themselves. And so it's definitely, I don't know, it's just, I don't know what you would call it, but it's definitely a misbelief to think that that's the way people want you. They don't. People do not want to see that. And especially, again, like I said, in the digital age, things are easy. It's easy to fake stuff. It's easy to put only the highlights of your life out there and not share the bad stuff. But that's totally fine if you want to do it that way, but it's not going to get you that deep core connection with your, you know, readers, because they want to see that you're real and they want to know that you're not this perfect author. Sometimes you mess up. Sometimes you know, don't do the right things, and sometimes you don't have your habits in line and whatever. Like, they want to know you're real. So something that I like to do a lot is, especially when I deal with like haters or have situations where, you know, I have like haters going on, I like to talk about it. And I've made several videos, you maybe you've even seen some of them, talking about the haters, talking about the people who come out of the woodwork to try to tell you that you suck and that you can't do this and, you know, you're a fraud and all this stuff. And I talk about that stuff because, you know, I think some people would probably keep it down and, you know, hide it and not want people to know, like, oh my God, I don't want them to know that someone called me a fraud. Well, I'm not going to do that. Like, I want to tell you straight up, because honestly, like, the first part is I want you to know what it's really like to be successful as an author. The second thing is that I want you to know that I'm human. Like, I deal with haters, I deal with doubt, I deal with fear and negativity and all that stuff. So by being real and by showing people who you really are, you actually build a deeper connection with them that's actually going to get them to know, like, and trust you. And when they do that, they will buy books from you, they'll buy courses from you, they will buy anything that you're selling that they need. They will buy it because they feel like they know you and they feel like they can relate to you, which isn't something you can do if you present yourself as perfect all the time. So be real. That's what people want to see, and that's what they resonate with, because again, it makes them feel like they're human and so are you. Otherwise, if it's always this polished version of you, it's not relatable. They feel like you must be better than them, you must have something they don't have, and that's not relatable. So definitely, this is the biggest reason I would say why you should go out there and do you and have confidence about it, because people want to see you and they want to see you being who you are and being real, because that just makes you more likable to them. So that should give you the confidence to go out there and do you right there automatically, because again, we want to see who you really are. We want to see your flaws. We want to see your good side. We want to see everything, because that is what makes you human to us. And that's what makes you interesting as a person and not just one-dimensional, look at my life, it's so freaking great. All right, so number 7 is that you should think about the people that you love and follow, so other authors that you follow, or anybody really, doesn't have to be an author necessarily, and then look at the stuff that they put out there and how they show themselves as a confident author. What do? Do they post videos? Do they put pictures of themselves? How do they combine their author self with their life? Because I feel like that's really the key when it comes to having the confidence to do you, is that seeing all these things that you do and all these pieces of yourself as something that would be interesting to your readers. And I think a lot of times we tell ourselves we're not that interesting, or why would anyone care about that? But something that one of my mentors has told me recently is that your ideal readers are often a mirror for you. And so what that means is what they need, you need, or what you need, they need. So it sort of becomes a mirror situation. So as an example, and I sort of wrote a couple of things down let me just make my notes. Okay, so as an example, my audience is mostly multi-passionate authors who write fiction and nonfiction, who want the dream writing life, who want freedom, who are mostly health conscious. I mean, this isn't true of everybody, but this is true of a lot of them. And when I did a survey recently, I actually discovered that most of the people who follow me, about 90% of them are multi-passionate, which I didn't realize, which is kind of cool, right? And it's cool because you kind of get to know your audience more, but the funny thing is that's a mirror of me, because I am multi-passionate. I write fiction, I write nonfiction, I'm super creative, I cook and I create stuff, and I like to draw and I like to paint and I like to just do all these creative things. Not saying I'm great at all of it, not at all, but the point is I like to do multiple things, and so I want freedom and I want to create a business and a writing life where I can do these things. And the funny thing is the people who follow me, that's what they want too. So it's a mirror. And so, yeah, sometimes we think we're not that interesting and, people don't care about that side of us, but honestly, that's the stuff that makes us interesting. People like the fact that, I'm multi-passionate, because they are too. So for them, it's like, oh, I see this multi-passionate woman and she's out there doing, the stuff that she loves and she's making a living from it. And it's so great. Well, I could do that too. So if I was going out there and only presenting one side of myself, if I was going out there and only showing you my writing side, because that's the only side that I'm, feeling confident about, because it's polished and whatever, but I'm not showing you, oh, I have a dog and I, like to make crafts and I cook and whatever, then I'm taking away pieces of myself that could possibly connect you with me as a reader. So same thing for you. Your readers and your ideal readers may just be a mirror of you. So think about, what it is that you enjoy, that you do in your life. That's probably stuff that's going to be of interest to them too. And I know that sounds crazy, but go ahead and go out there and try it. I promise you that will happen, because whatever you're interested in, your readers are going to be interested in. And that's the great thing, is that you can have the confidence to go out there and be you, because that's what they want to see. And that's what they're going to connect with. And that's what makes you interesting, is all these other pieces of yourself. So maybe you don't think you're that interesting as a writer, but if you have all these other things, well, you're a mom and you have, you run a pet shelter, and all these things that we don't think are that interesting about ourselves actually become the interesting thing. So what I like to do with my social media and, with the stuff I put out there is try to weave myself into it. So you're not just seeing posts about writing, but you're seeing pictures of my dog or things that I've cooked, or you're seeing, a picture of me doing something, whatever. The idea isn't that, I'm always 100% confident, but I am 100% confident being me and showing that to people, because I know that that's what they want to see. So I hope that some of this has given you some reasons to sort of see why it's important to do you, and why you should just feel confident going out there and being yourself, because people want to see that. They want people who are real, people who are raw, people who share, what's true for them and what their life is really like, because that connects you. So I have not been feeling very well this week. I've been sort of dealing with an old health issue that's flared up, and I've been saying that. I haven't gone into a lot of detail, which I don't plan to, but the point is, just by saying that, I've gotten emails and contacts from people all over who said, oh, I have, old health issues that flare up all the time, and I know how that can be. It's so annoying, and just connecting with them. So just sharing something really simple. Oh, I was sick this week, dealing with health issues, whatever. I've had all these people come out of the woodwork to just share with me their own stories and their own healing resources and sending me links. Oh, check this article out, or do this, do that. So the whole thing is that it's just, if I hadn't have done that, then we wouldn't have built that connection. So if I just been like, oh, I'm perfect and I'm always healthy and nothing ever goes wrong in my life, la, la, la. Well, if I did that, then it wouldn't be relatable and people wouldn't care as much. They wouldn't like me as much. So that's the whole thing. You have to just go out there and be who you are, because that's what people want to see. That's what's going to connect you with your ideal readers. And that is, of course, what's going to help you sell more books. Because if you think about any of the authors that you follow, you don't just follow them because you like their writing, most likely. You follow them because you think they're cool people, or they do interesting things, or whatever. So go and sort of look at the people you follow and the authors and the writers who you think are great. And then just write down what you think is great about them. Oh, they have confidence. Oh, they smile all the time. Oh, they post pictures of themselves. Write this stuff down in a generic sense, and then you can sort of use it as a guide for your own building of confidence to go out there and be yourself. So these are my tips for you, and I would love to hear just what you do to build confidence in yourself and to just be who you are and go out there and represent that. Share them in the comments of this video. And if you want to find some seriously killer tactics to sell more books, be sure to check out my free training, 15 Tactics to Sell More Books. You can go to jenniferblanchard.net/15 tactics, 15 tactics, and I'll catch you next time.